This is the tale of two historic military towers, which have both laid derelict for hundreds of years. Each of them needs saving, and both of them could make unique romantic hideaways for their new owners. Ex-squaddy Barrie Taylor and actress and artist Sarah McCombie. Where I can, I'm going to help, advise and support them on their restoration journeys. The first of our two towers is in East Renfrewshire, near Glasgow in Scotland. Coldwell Tower is a Category B listed fortified building, originating from the 15th century. It's a much loved and respected symbol for the local community, and has been bought by Barrie and his partner Fiona 3 years ago for £100,000. They live 500 miles away in Essex and dream of turning it into a romantic Scottish getaway.
If we don't do anything with it, it's just going to crumble. The water's going to come into the building, it's just going to fall to rack and ruin.
Barrie spent £20,000 on architectural plans so far and has had 3 applications refused. I'm hoping I can help him break the cycle of failure.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi Barrie, how are you?
Grand to see you.
Nice to meet you. You well?
No problem. Bit cold today, but
you've got yourself one hell of a building here, Barrie. How did you come across it?
Looking at the buildings at risk register for Scotland, So
what makes you want to take on something like this historic?
My own personal interest in history, particularly Scottish history, but also I've got Scottish ancestors as well. So it's really like coming back home, as it were.
Well, let's go in and have a look.
Absolutely.
Coldwell is a 3-storey, 40-foot tall tower with a footprint of 500 square feet. The ground level has a vaulted ceiling and is not connected to the floors above. In the late 17th century, the tower was restored and internal stone stairs were added to join the first and top floors together. The first floor is reached by an external staircase on the north facade of the tower.
Wow. Oh, Barrie, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a cracking space.
Yeah. All the stonework, all the vaulted ceilings, original.
So this is the very top of the building, Barrie?
Yeah, this is the upper vault, which we'll probably make as a viewing room. And hopefully I can make some sort of staircase going through to the actual window in the roof, because you can actually walk around the battlements on the top.
So what's it going to look like? What are your plans?
Oh, my plans. Well, it's nothing elaborate or exotic, but our plans are very much around having an oak frame building that is comparable and compatible with the tower.
That looks a bit traditional pitch roof, timber clad.
This is the 4th plan Barrie's had drawn up for Coldwell Tower in the last 3 years. It's a glass and oak mock medieval style extension with a tiled roof and mezzanine floor. I'm really worried by this. It's more of a pastiche add-on than a sympathetic restoration design.
You know, we've been told by the various people is we're on the right track, they like the idea, and we're running with it. And
but you haven't got planning permission yet?
Not at the moment.
I think when it comes to the design, Barrie is thinking of the building as like an object. You know, you've got the tower as the stone object, you've got the extension as the timber object, but he's not really thinking about how that object relates to the landscape around him and what context is there. I mean, for me, this building's about location more than anything else. But Barrie's got the timber extension, like out of this window, basically downstairs, and he's got solid timber wall on the left-hand side, solid timber wall on the right-hand side, and his entire glass wall, which is going to give him all this fantastic view, allegedly, is looking over that farmer's building there, that pile of cow shit on the right there, and then the slurry storage system tank, which is just grim. So when you're sitting having your breakfast in the morning, your nice bowl of Scottish oats, you're going to be looking at shit and slurry. I mean, it's like one of the crappiest connections you could ever make between a kitchen dining room and the beautiful Scottish landscape around you, because it's not that. It's just rank.
The tower was originally part of the old Coldwell Castle and is the only part to have survived. It was owned by the Muir clan, who, like many Scottish families in the Middle Ages, like nothing better than a good scrap. They threw themselves into every battle going, but were a bit slow off the mark in 1666 when they arrived late at the Pentland Uprising, to find their side already defeated.
Where is everyone?
William Muir was declared an outlaw and the king gave his castle to another Scotsman. Ouch. In 1689, William of Orange took the throne, the Catholics were thrown out, the Protestants in, and William Muir's family got their castle back.
Home.
500 miles south of the border near Dover is a tower with a more recent military history. 4 years ago, Sarah McCombie bought this 19th century Napoleonic Martello tower for around £50,000 and plans to transform it into her very own Rapunzel hideaway. With her deep moat around her, Sarah plans to have a drawbridge built to keep potential suitors and the modern world at bay.
I'm going to be up on that gun deck as much as possible because that is the most inspiring part of all. Pull out the drawbridge, 2 fingers to the world, good night, you know. Absolutely perfect, 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 perfect.
Derelict since the 19th century, set in an acre of cliff-top woodland and sunk into a moat 20 feet deep, this circular tower is about as inaccessible as it can get, and Sarah's dream is to bring her beloved tower back to life.
Sarah, hi, I'm George.
Hi.
What are you just sitting here patiently in the woods waiting for me?
making sure that whether I let you in or not. Dun, dun.
This is it. Oh, look at that. That is brilliant.
That's my gentle giant, waiting to be awoken.
The gentle giant. I like that.
At the end of the 18th century, we were shaking in our boots waiting for the Frenchies to invade. In 1805, we Brits decided the best form of defence was to build 103 of these Martello towers, in a channel on the coast from Seaford in the south to Aldborough in the east. No! Ironically, these towers were inspired by a round fortress the British had seen on Martello Point in Corsica, Napoleon's birthplace. But in 1805, Nelson thrashed the Frenchies at Trafalgar, which meant that the chances of them invading Britain were slim. These Martellos, nicknamed the Bulldogs by the feared French, were pretty much obsolete before they were even built. And having a moat 20 feet deep means they are pretty inaccessible too.
Oh, this is amazing.
It always feels much broader, you know, much wider when you actually get into the moat than when you're looking down at it from above. So all the more I want this to be like a secret garden.
It's like your own little hidden, protected world, isn't it?
Mm.
The Martello is 1,300 square feet over 2 floors. The ground floor served as the magazine and store for ammo and provisions. The first floor was divided into several rooms for the soldiers, with fireplaces built for cooking and heating. At the top, the gun deck was mounted with 1 cannon on a central pivot that enabled a 360-degree rotation. It was accessed from the first floor by a stone staircase within the thick wall. With walls that in some places are 13 feet thick, it was built to withstand anything short of a nuclear attack.
Sarah, I think the inside of this building is spectacular. I was expecting just a sort of cylindrical building, but the forms are so sculptural, aren't they?
It's phenomenal, isn't it? It's absolutely, it's very dramatic.
Is there anything above? Or is
There's
this it?
something amazing above.
Is there? What?
Pièce de résistance.
Wow, she wasn't kidding. The view up here is incredible. A 360-degree window onto both the South Downs and the English Channel. Sarah's dream is to transform this into a terrace where she can enjoy her spectacular view. But she's already had the tower for 4 years and still has no plans, no architect, and only dreams.
You're dealing with a historic building that's very, very significant. So you've got to be very sensitive about what restoration you actually do. But when she's passionate about this building as much as she is, if she keeps that going through the rest of the project, she'll always be all right. So we've just got to get stuck in, really.
Sarah and Barrie have owned their towers for a number of years, yet both seem paralysed with nothing happening on either project. I think they're just romantics, overwhelmed with paperwork and ignoring the detail necessary for a conservation project. My job is to kick them up the arse and get them motivated before they lose heart. 2 very different towers and 2 very different personalities, both desperate to restore them and create magical romantic hideaways. 45-year-old ex-army man Barrie Taylor bought this derelict 15th century fortified tower 3 years ago. It was and still is on the Buildings at Risk register. It's Category B listed, and he dreams of turning it into a family holiday home by restoring the tower and attaching an extension at the back. So far, he's had 3 plans rejected, and his latest architect, Essex-based Trudy Brown, has had some bad news from the local planning department about the proposed Oak Barn style extension.
Well, East Renfrewshire Council have asked us to withdraw the current application for the Oak Barn because they're not keen on what the design and structure looks like. We needed to come up with something a bit smaller, more in keeping possibly with from the planner's point of view, not go for a different material but go for something that's much more in keeping with the existing town.
As well as the rejection, it seems the responsibility of being a custodian of this unique historic tower is starting to get to Barrie.
You know, we can't expect to maintain a structure like this with no function. Every season you come, you render it, you repair the roof. You're doing historic Scotland's work at the end of the day, aren't you?
However, what Barrie doesn't realise is that unless he comes up with the right plan, this building that's been derelict for 300 years will never be saved. In 1690, the Muirs got their castle back after William of Orange took the throne, but it was left in a sorry old state. Rather than living in the tower, the Muirs instead built a grand and comfortable family home a stone's throw away. In the late 17th century, they decided to remodel the tower as a landscape feature, and no one has lived there since. Yeah! Barrie's not the only one who has wanted to restore Coldwell Tower. To understand just how hard a task he set himself, I'm meeting passionate restoration warrior John Buchanan Smith, who owned Coldwell for 3 years. He eventually gave up battling with the planners and bought himself another tower in nearby Kilmarnock.
Well, our hope was to get planning permission to turn it into a livable modern home. So our proposal was a turnpike stair, a bathroom in the attic space, so absolutely minimal intervention as we thought. Yeah. It was too sympathetic, it looked as though it may be fit and would confuse generations in the future.
So this very sensitive restoration project was thrown out by the planners?
It was.
And what were they asking for?
We returned the original tenemental stair and reconsider. So we take the idea of glass and steel. Yeah, we have half the floor area now.
So distinctly different.
This was deemed to be totally inappropriate, using glass and steel on a building that would never have had it. Our final proposal was to retain the stair and have nothing but an external downstairs kitchen with glass and wood.
Yeah. And what did the planners think of this?
At that point, we started to wonder if we were ever going to get permission. So,
but you walked away?
We walked away from it.
I mean, what would you say to someone like Barrie who's now taken this building on?
Good luck. Absolutely good luck.
John's experience proves that a willingness to try different schemes, materials and approaches just isn't enough. So I'm hoping I can point Barrie in the right direction. Restoration needs a diplomatic approach.
These guys put 3 schemes in and for 3 years battled to get something through planning and had to give up. I mean, this is just the start of the journey for Barrie, and I don't think he's got any idea about what he's taken on.
Sarah McCombie bought this Martello tower from the Ministry of Defence 4 years ago. Not only is it on the at-risk register, it's also a scheduled ancient monument, which means it's a bureaucratic nightmare, leaving the only plans for Sarah's sleeping giant firmly in her head. But I need to understand the history of the building before I can help her with any new design. Local Martello enthusiast Peter Hibbs is meeting us on site.
This level has always been used as the magazine area, so that would have contained barrels of gunpowder and gunnery equipment and provisions and stores for the garrison of the tower.
So magazine means?
It's basically an arsenal.
These?
The slots here?
Yeah, on each side. They were something to do with pulling things up to the top, weren't they?
Yes, and I believe they were space for ammunition hoists.
The guys would have been on the top.
That's right.
Ready to fire their guns.
Yes.
But to get the ammunition from down there, it would have been hoisted through that slot.
Mechanically
up
through
the wall of the building to the top floor level.
What I have this idea in my head that I would like to be able to use one of these as what do you call those things where you put your food on?
Oh, like your dumbwaiter?
Yes.
You're on a dumbwaiter, I
and
like
use
that.
that going up to the gun deck, because that's where I want to spend most of my time, is on the gun deck, and I don't want to be coming up and down to here to the kitchen. I want to be able to just...
Oh, I go that. You're going to be pulling the glasses of champagne up on a little tray. That's brilliant.
Sarah's vision for her champagne dumbwaiter is indicative of her flights of fancy, but she needs to concentrate on getting good plans and schedules drawn up. It's time to get real. 4 miles along the coast in Folkestone, it's another story altogether. To try and spark Sarah into action, I'm taking her to Mike King's Martello, which is undergoing a significant change.
I bought it in 81.
1981,
Yeah.
fantastic. And when did you start the work? Straight away?
No, a year afterwards.
A year after.
Yeah.
Looking around, you're not quite there yet, are you?
No, I've been paralysed in between. It took me 7 years to even try and get well, and I'm still not well. I had to learn to read and write and talk and word recognition, a whole piece of life again.
That's unbelievable. And what tips would you give to someone?
This young lady.
But this young lady, who's going to do Martello Tower?
Careful with your money.
But you've added a whole new floor to the top of the building, haven't you?
Yeah.
Now, Sarah thinks that she won't be able to do that with her building. What's your view on that?
I would suggest that the precedent's already been set, so I would have thought by law that they can't stop it. But if I decided to tear it off again, that's not a problem because you haven't altered the structure.
For more inspiration, I've decided to take Sarah to another tower nearby, which already has a converted terrace, like the one she wants for her sleeping giant.
Very different, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've added a whole room up here.
I still, even if I had permission, I wouldn't want to have the whole of the top covered.
Because you want outdoor space.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A proper viewing deck to stand outside
exactly.
and feel the breeze.
Be in touch with the elements.
But will English Heritage let you build anything on the top of the building?
Well, not last time I checked, but I would like to have the back bit covered and the front bit totally open.
What, so you put glass doors or something out onto an external terrace? Well, that makes sense to me. It's just whether they'll let you do it. At last, she's given me the go-ahead to draw up some plans. Now, I've been researching the other 44 towers, and a large number of those that still survive have roof additions. So I'm going to start the process of moulding this building's future. I really want to design a beautiful extension on top of the roof because Sarah's made it pretty clear that she wants to be able to stand there and get a stunning view of the sea and the wind blowing in her hair during the summer months. But I think she also wants a very enclosed and protective space that she can still enjoy that view during the winter months as well. What I want to do is create a sense of enclosure as soon as you come up to that upper level. Big sweeping curved roof. A sheet of glass in here. Very minimal. So you can stand inside and here in the winter in an enclosed space. You can come through the doors and then you can stand outside in the summer and get that view. That view is the most important part of this building. I'm hoping that the planners will think that we're doing something which, yes, is modern, but is also very sympathetic to the building in terms of not really being able to be seen from anywhere. Something that doesn't jump out as being a kind of pimple on this building, and that no one, to be honest, can really see from anywhere. Unless you're a seagull and you're over there.
Although I'm not designing Barry's plans, I want to get to the root of where he's going wrong. So I'm going to meet head honcho Ranald McInnes at Historic Scotland in Edinburgh.
So Ranald, I need your help to kind of, I suppose, demystify the planning process a little bit when it comes to historic buildings.
In the case of Coldwell Tower, it's a most interesting building and a well-known local landmark. You would look at it and think, well, why is it standing alone on a hillside the way it does? Yeah. What's its story, if you like? What's the narrative around this building? And once you understand why it's there, who built it, that can better inform your decision about what you can do with it. Mm-hmm. It's also an important historical artefact, if you like. So it's the very fabric of the building is important.
What information would you expect from someone putting that sort of application in?
You would say, get the right professionals involved, someone with conservation experience, get all the documentation you can, all the research about the building that you can amass, and then think about how you can inhabit the building. And we're very happy always to speak to someone at an initial stage to get them on the right track. We don't want to see people doing a lot of work that is wasted.
Although he's the owner of the building, there's so many other people out there that care about it. You know, the neighbours, the local community, Historic Scotland, the local authority, they all want it to be restored, but in the right way. And Barrie just isn't giving them the right detailed information to help them make that decision. The right drawings, the right reports. He's not selling the right argument, and it's starting to become what I think is a bit of a battle. If he doesn't get the right professionals on board right now to help him out, he's never going to get this scheme approved.
Barrie isn't seeing the bigger picture, leaving me puzzled as to why he doesn't seem to have done his research, and why none of his architects have any experience of restoration or conservation in Scotland. And what worries me even more is that Barrie's naivety with restoration isn't restricted to the planning process. My worst fears come true when I visit Coldwell Tower to check on completed maintenance work. It looks as though the roof's leaking already, and Barrie's lack of experience means he's not employing the specialists this restoration needs.
Remarkable is that Barrie's already paid someone to come and do repair work to the roof last year, and they've just done such a shocking job. All the lead work up here is terrible. It hasn't been dressed in properly, it hasn't been finished properly, it hasn't been welded properly. I mean, look at that. Look. Sorry, that's just a complete waste of perfectly good lead. The more I look, the worse it gets. Look at this. I'm actually speechless. Instead of using proper mortar to bed the stonework back together, to get it all watertight, some lazy idiot has just come up and gunned in mastic. This is the sort of stuff you'd put around your bathtub in the house. The botch job of all botch jobs. You've got to pay the right money and get the right tradesmen on site to do a proper repair job. Doing it like this is just throwing money down the drain and wrecking the building at the same time. And if Barrie can't even get repair right, how can I expect him to get restoration right?
Even though I'm very frustrated by Barrie, I'm hoping I can help him with the new design and point him in the right direction.
Now that I understand Historic Scotland's guidelines, it's clear to me that Barrie's campaign strategy is completely wrong. He's the guardian of a historically important building, and he's got to take that into account with any new design. So I've come to steer him back on course.
The argument that's coming from Historic Scotland, they want the building to remain not as necessary as a landscape feature, but a silhouette.
As soon as you put an extension on it, the silhouette and profile of the building changes in the landscape. Absolutely.
So we're keeping everything very close to this northwest elevation.
Right.
And then we encapsulate the staircase in glass.
So it's a one-bedroom building now?
Yeah.
What happens now?
Well, what happens now is we've got new plans. We'll present them to Historic Scotland and East Renfrewshire Council. And we say, look, this is the last set of drawings we're doing.
If you look at this letter from the Scottish Civic Trust, nearly the first sentence, the Trust welcomes plans to reuse this building and to ensure its long-term future. Brilliant. Right, you couldn't ask for anything better. And then you look 3 paragraphs down, the Trust continues to have concerns that the building is unsuited to conversion. I just wonder whether, when I look at these drawings, because it's elevation, 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 plan, whether there needs to be more contextual drawings, you know, big long cross sections down the hill showing the tower with an extension on it. You want to be getting sort of viewpoints and vantage points from special areas and saying this is what the proposal will look like. But I'm just looking at their point in here, I'm just wondering whether this information's right to get that message across, to build your argument stronger for you.
We've written a report countering all the arguments that the various respondees have presented to us. But I'm more than happy to take photographs from the areas of concern. I think their concerns are the viewpoints from Upland Moor.
I mean, in some ways I feel a bit sorry for Barrie because it is a tricky process. You're dealing with so many different bodies, so many different groups who give you mixed messages, really.
and when no one makes a clear decision or gives you clear direction, it's always difficult. But to be honest, I think Barry's not helping himself either. I think the quality of the information that he's put in on the planning is terrible. I think it's really bad. You're talking about a historic building set in the most historic Scottish landscape, and all the drawings just show the tower. 4 elevations, 4 plans, all on the same drawing. You need to show beautiful cross-sections through the Scottish landscape, with the tower being like that big, all surrounded by trees, and every single one of those objections by all those bodies is about what it looks like in the landscape, the silhouette changing, the profile of the hillside. He hasn't got a single drawing that justifies his argument to do what he wants to do.
In this tale of 2 towers, I've managed to ignite Sarah's passion again, and at last we're designing some plans for her Martello Tower. But with Barrie, I'm completely exasperated. Artist and actress Sarah McCombie fell in love with her Martello Tower 4 years ago and bought it for the bargain price of £50,000. Her sleeping giant has been derelict and unloved for over 130 years.
If I had not bought this tower, he would just be falling into more and more rack and ruin. I have rescued this building. I've saved this building.
Sarah's dream of turning it into her perfect home has yet to materialise. And with the tower scheduled as an ancient monument and on the at-risk register, Sarah's romantic vision looks set to remain just that.
I, for example, do not want to live in a museum. I want to live in a home, and not only a home, I like me comforts.
Now, Sarah's sleeping giant is officially in a coma. She's had the plans I've drawn up for about 3 months, and still nothing has happened. She needs to get them into English Heritage as fast as possible, and I don't really understand what's holding things up. It's time for a little heart-to-heart.
So where are you at now? What's going on?
I mean, it doesn't sound as if I've been doing very much, but I have. Honestly, darling.
Why can't you get your plan in it?
Yes, I could be doing that, yeah.
Because that could take ages. You need to, put it in. Because then it's going to go through everyone, as you know. It's going to go through English Heritage. This is going to take forever, isn't it?
No, George, stop it.
It is.
No, it's not, because I'm not prepared to be moving in there on my Zimmer frame.
Do you know what I'm really worried about, though? That this is never going to get started. The planning could take,
Don't,
6
please.
months.
Now, there's no gin and tonic handy. Don't say things like this to me, George.
I would love to do it for you, but you need someone who's going to be there for you every day. And I'm not even bothered about it being an architect. I'm happy for you to get a great project manager.
I promise you, George. There's so many reasons why. This is my whole life on hold at the moment.
Are you afraid of getting started with this project?
Hand on heart, in my whole life, I have never been as sure about anything as I was about getting this property.
It's clear that Sarah is going nowhere fast. If she means business, she's got a huge battle ahead, and she hasn't even started yet. I mean, she says that she isn't worried or scared, but to be honest, I think she's got her head in the clouds, and she just isn't focused on what needs doing. If she's ever going to live in this tower, she's got to turn some of that passion into action and knuckle down. In the 19th century, Britannia ruled the waves. And after Trafalgar, the government-owned Martellos were left standing firm for 130 years. With just the odd Coast Guard taking up residence to fight against smuggling, which was rife until World War II. Then, with Hitler threatening to invade, Britain began to watch the sea as well as the skies, and the military might of the towers was needed again. Some as observation posts, others equipped with anti-aircraft and naval guns. Thankfully, any invasion was thwarted, and of the 103 original Martellos, 43 remain. Tonight's other tale is with Barrie Taylor. On my last visit, I made it clear to him that if he wanted to win his restoration war, he had to up the sensitivity and quality of his plans and provide much more contextual detail, showing everything from landscaping to vantage points. 6 months on, and I'm flabbergasted. Barrie hasn't listened to me, hasn't taken my advice, and instead has ripped up the plans and started again.
So where we're
So this is scheme number what?
Oh, God, I've lost count. I think it's probably scheme 10. We've slightly gone bigger than the porch because we had to put in some form of ablutions, shower, toilet, sink,
So it's a 2-storey, mono-pitched
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah.
And it's stone at the bottom and then timber cladding above.
Timber cladding.
That's completely different to the scheme you had before.
I don't understand why Barry's scrapped his 5th and most recent plan. He's gone back to the drawing board without any consideration to access.
We've got problems with the entrance as well. Sneaky feeling that they want us to move the access further up.
You don't own that, though, do you?
Well, bottom line is they know. We've had some previous drawings done of an entrance coming in from here.
Yeah, but you don't own the land.
It will be negotiated with the farmer.
I'll be really honest with you, Barry. What I'm worried about, looking at these, because this is the first time I've seen them, this is nowhere near enough information.
That's right.
For listed building consent on this building. Now, yeah, those cross-sections there are just not, they're not good enough. You're spending all this money having scheme after scheme after scheme after scheme done, right? All the planners keep saying is, it's about a building and its context. When you do a historic building application, you need context drawings. Sometimes you need to do 3D computer models. Sometimes you need to do, well, you have to do design and access statements. Even for a standard building, you'd need that. This is one of the most historic buildings in Scotland. There needs to be clear reasons why this is a positive addition to this building. And I'll tell you, that drawing doesn't say that to me at all. I'm pulling my hair out a bit because I think there's a chance that you could get planning for a really, really good scheme here. If the drawings are done properly. I don't know who's doing the drawings for. I mean, have they been to site, honestly?
This is an Essex-based firm of people that have produced the CAD drawings.
Engineers?
Yeah.
So the architect hasn't done these?
No.
Have these engineers been to site?
No.
So they're drawing a building that they've never seen before?
From the calculations that have been given.
It's not about calculations, Barry. If they haven't been to site before, they're drawing blind. They're drawing a scheme that they don't understand. My role for you was to help you out with design advice. That's why I'm here. Yeah. To give you guidance along the way with design advice, right? I mean, are you trying to do it on the cheap or something? Is there something you're telling us?
No.
Seriously?
It's just so many people involved.
These people haven't even seen the bloody building, man. Did the architect design this scheme?
It was actually my idea, actually.
What I'm thinking is, why isn't there just one cracking scheme that does one cracking job, and you spend the money getting all the cracking information done, get all the reports done, all the drawings done, everything done, and then you'll get approval. Look at that!
I know, it comes out at you a bit, doesn't it?
It jumps out like a bloody sore thumb.
Thank you for your advice, George.
You said that with a wry smile, like you're pissed off.
It's not like, oh God, I've just sat on my
No, you haven't.
my posterior.
I know you haven't. I know you haven't.
But the information's there. It's just about pulling it together.
I mean, is it worth you getting a little local architect around here who knows the planners really well and get them to do it?
Okay.
Barry's thrown good money after bad. He's already spent 30 grand. If that doesn't make him sit up and listen, I don't know what will.
At the end of the day, owning a historic building, you know, I wouldn't say we bought it for romantic reasons. It's because it's a lovely building and it's got, you know, really, really positive landscape features. But I think not owning a historic building before, you've got to understand the process, the politics, you know, and the procedures. It can be a very, very expensive exercise. So George has sort of pointed me in the right direction now.
When you think about the plan and history of this building, it's been unbelievably complicated. You've had previous local owners who've employed local architects, have got loads of local knowledge, and still haven't got a scheme for an extension approved. And I'm just not sure if Barry's being strategic enough in changing the way that he's approaching the design of this building. I don't know if he's been political enough either, to be honest with you. He's got such a battle on his hands.
Restoring towers is hardly new, and there's a great example in the work of Glaswegian architect Charles Rennie Mackintosh, who retained the spirit of the original Glasgow Herald building. The Limwater Tower in Cheshire and the Round Tower in Cirencester are brilliant examples of confident and contemporary restoration projects. When I last saw Sarah nearly a year ago, she seemed scared to progress things with her Martello Tower. Thankfully, she's taken my words to heart and employed Jason Britton, a local builder and carpenter, who shares her passion to help move things forward.
Being a woman on your own, it's all the more important anyway that you have people who you really, really trust. Jason is so aware that, you know, how significant it is for me, that you know, I've started doing things. You know, he's taken the pigeons out. He started with the garden. He knows that how important that is to me, and psychologically, as much as anything, I can see that I am making progress.
She's done some digging around and knows that additional windows are a lost cause, so is focusing on our plan to maximise the use of the gun deck.
I think that it's simply that anything where you are not having the gun deck exactly as it is could be contentious with them. Basically, we are only caretakers of these properties. Fine, it's removable. It just means that the tower will be used to its maximum, rather than me only being able to go up there when the sun's shining.
She's even recruited a merry band of helpers to tame her secret garden, as she finally plans a strategy to make some headway with English heritage.
I'm going to be focusing next on the bureaucratic fiddle-dee-dee, because that, to me, is actually my biggest hurdle. Once I've done that, I can see things moving forward much quicker. If I haven't heard back from people, they will be hearing from me. Hopefully they will get so fed up that they'll think, right, we better get on and move on with this one to get this nightmarish woman off our backs, or something like that. I'm paying out, you know, money on rent, which should be going towards the tower. Money's getting tighter and tighter anyway. Once we get going with the building, I think it's going to just race away.
But before she can even think about getting the builders in, Sarah needs to go through our plans with English Heritage to see what they make of them.
Yeah, okay, so
Although she's been talking to them for a year trying to move things forward, Sarah keeps hitting brick walls.
During the day, 9 to 5 basically, is mainly on the telephone. It's not just difficult getting a certain amount of people together, but these people are particularly busy people. I'll call her on her mobile. Thanks a lot, bye.
5 years after buying her Martello, Sarah's finally managed to set up a meeting with English Heritage. With all the research in place, we feel we've got a good chance to win them over. Though today will be the first time they've even inspected the site. It's a crucial visit.
How are you?
Oh,
You all right?
nervous wreck.
You'll be all right. You'll be fine.
We've got to be allowed to get on with things, haven't we?
We will be. I'll make sure that we can. But you've got to be prepared, though.
This has been recorded. That last sentence has been recorded.
No, but you've got to be prepared for their negativity.
Oh, I am.
But the most important thing about today is to find out what their attitude is to this building, because their policies change all the time.
Frustratingly, English Heritage wouldn't let us film the meeting, and 3 hours later, the news is far from good.
That wasn't really the best meeting, but it's not the end of the road either. They basically want us to take samples of the materials on the existing tower to give us direction about the specification of new materials moving forward. And when it comes to the roof design, it's back to the drawing board.
Barrie Taylor has been a particularly frustrating case. He and partner Fiona bought 15th century Coldwell Tower 4 years ago for £100,000 and have failed to get planning permission despite spending £30,000 on 5 different designs.
Scheme number what?
Oh God, I've lost count. I think it's probably scheme 10.
He's ignored my advice, hasn't employed an architect with Scottish conservation experience, and his dreams of turning the tower into a romantic Scottish hideaway are still in limbo. My job has been to cajole, inspire, and sometimes kick up the arse when necessary to get them going, and help make their tower into a stunning home. This is my last shot.
Now, I last saw Barrie 7 months ago, and I've heard things might have moved forward with planning, but to be honest, I've heard that so many times before. Today, I've brought Barrie and Fiona to this 15th century castle, which has been restored. I think if Barrie starts listening to people, there's a good chance that he will get the holiday home that he really wants.
Hello.
How are you? You all right?
George,
Lovely
yes.
to see you.
Lovely.
That's right. How are you, mate?
Morning. Not too
Come on
bad.
in. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Come and have a look at this. It's pretty spectacular.
Oh, wow, look at the ceiling. Oh!
What's lovely about this, in big picture thinking, especially when the planners look at it, it's been preserved as much as possible.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, even down to the shelving, you know, when it's been built in.
They've put everything behind the panelling as well.
Yeah.
If this all had to be ripped out, you're not affecting that 15th century building.
You're not ruining the walls.
It's a good idea. The staircase is beautiful.
Even though this is a really comfortable modern home, it still maintains the building's historic character and integrity.
And this is an amazing space.
Wow.
Have you been to see any other towers before that have been converted like this? Have you been to see anything?
We haven't, no.
Have you been to see one?
No.
Not one?
Not one.
You've bought yourself a tower and you've never seen one converted and finished?
Not at all.
Because it's great to see it, don't you think?
It is.
Even a scheduled monument like this can take a bit of modern technology.
Yeah.
Flat screen TV.
And here, beautiful bedroom.
Oh, this is lovely, isn't it? Oh, I like this. Oh.
It's fantastic, isn't it? So obviously in this room we've got new loo, new pipework, new everything, and then through here, you go in, Fiona. All loo. Tucked in there.
Oh, wow.
So what did you both think?
Brilliant.
Yeah? And you think the owner of this building, I mean look at it, it's massive. It's actually much bigger than yours.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
3 years from beginning to end, completely done, all finished. You've had yours for 4
Yeah.
and you haven't started.
We've done a lot.
Well, we've had a massive, massive fight with the various people involved in planning.
But has this given you a bit of a kind of boost today?
It has,
Yeah.
actually, because, you know, as I say, it doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
It
No,
can be
it's
simple.
easier. It's actually easier than we thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, that's excellent. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, really pleased with Kate.
Barry's finally realised there is a way forward, and all he needs to do is play the planning game, and above all, get the information and details right. 500 miles south lies Sarah McCombie's Martello Tower, dating from the Napoleonic Wars in the early 19th century. She bought this piece of history for around £50,000 5 years ago, planning to transform it into her dream home.
That's my gentle giant, waiting to be awoken.
With no restoration experience, her sleeping giant has remained steadfastly in a coma. But when I last saw her 3 months ago, we had started to make some headway with English heritage. My problem is that Sarah doesn't want to hear what they have to say, and is sticking to her idea about partially enclosing the gun deck on the roof, and she wouldn't let me go back to the drawing board. Today I've brought Sarah to meet Andy Brown, the Regional Director of English Heritage, to explain their view about her plans for the tower.
What we would like to do is some form of roof addition to provide some internal space, but some outdoor terrace as well. So what would be your initial thoughts about this type of addition on this type of building?
I think that's a very skillful approach to how one might put a roof on. In the cases of the ones that haven't already got roofs, though, we have adopted the policy that we need to draw the line somewhere, and we feel that the line needs to be drawn at the ones that we've still got left.
You know, you want somebody to rescue a building, but then you don't want them to be able to live in it properly.
Well, no, that's not true, Sarah. There's still every hope that we can find a way of you living in the building without doing any harm. It's all about whether or not you need to have that roof on the top, whether that's going to be the deal breaker or not. Because from our point of view, we have to draw the line somewhere, and I'm sorry that it's you who's been the first in the queue of people to suffer from that. But we have to take our responsibility seriously to make sure that this very small set of Martellos that are still left for us to pass on to future generations are passed on with as small a change as possible, enough to make it livable in, but not so much as it's taken away from the essential character of these buildings.
Yeah, in a perfect world, Andy, in a perfect world where, you know, and you know, I don't need an inside loo and all the rest of it, you know.
There are 2 ways forward. You can follow through with your plans and take it through the appeal process, and then an independent inspector would come to a decision, and the Secretary of State would make up her mind as to which way Margaret Hodge would take the decision as things stand at the moment. So that's one route. The other route would be to say that let's try living in the building without the rooftop addition and see how it is, and if in 10 years' time you're still determined that you want a rooftop addition, ask again, and the situation may have changed by that time.
But I would say that at the end of the day, it's English heritage that makes the decision.
Well, that seems very, very clear to me, so thank you so much for coming to meet us today.
It's been a pleasure, George.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you, sir.
I think the only way that this is going to happen now is to put an application in without the roof on. Back to the drawing board, take it off, get all the information that we need, put it in, and get it approved. And then you've at least got an approval there for it to be converted to residential use. They'll have signed everything off, and then you can get on with it. And if you want to go back and appeal for the roof, you can do that later. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, it's obviously a no.
No, I know. Yeah.
What, is that what you're going to do or not? Is that what you want to do?
That's what I will do.
Good.
Well, I think sometimes a bit of tough love is exactly what a romantic dreamer like Sarah needs. We've made great progress, but maybe the champagne dumbwaiter on her roof terrace is a long way off. But it doesn't mean we cannot toast the fact that at last Sarah has a dialogue with English heritage, and the dream of turning her sleeping giant into a home has moved forward.
Cheers. Good luck.
Well, George, here's to hoping that it won't be too long before you're drinking a glass of this on the gun deck.
Exactly.
Finished. Seriously.
Exactly. Well, I look forward.
Here's to that.
I look forward to that day. Cheers. Good luck. I've tried everything I can to help them along on this restoration journey, and I desperately want them to succeed. But I have to applaud Historic Scotland and English Heritage for their fastidious approach to the conservation of these magnificent buildings. Barry's owned his tower for 4 years and Sarah hers for 5. But for them, their restoration journey is only just beginning.